e pachanti atma karanat. Translation. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. Purport. The devotees of the Supreme Lord, or the persons who are in Krishna consciousness, are called santas, and they are always in love with the Lord as it is described in the Brahma Samhita. Premanjana churita bhakti virochanena santa sadaiva rida yeshu virokayanti. The santas, being always in a compact of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, the giver of all pleasures, or Mukunda, the giver of liberation, or Krishna, the all-attractive person, cannot accept anything without first offering it to the Supreme Person. Therefore, such devotees always perform yagyas in different modes of devotional service, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, etc. And these performances of yagyas keep them always aloof from all kinds of contamination, of sinful association in the material world. Others who prepare food for self or sense gratification are not only thieves, but also the eaters of all kinds of sins. How can a person be happy if he is both a thief and sinful? It is not possible. Therefore, in order for people to become happy in all respects, they must be taught to perform the process, the easy process of Sankirtan Yagya in full Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there can be no peace or happiness in the world. Jai Prabhupada.
Jai. All right, very important verse that food should be offered in sacrifice. So we do that, of course. Probably you do it in your home. We hope so. Just simply offer the food to Krishna. And how do we offer the food to Krishna? How do we do the sacrifice? By this Sankirtan Yagya, by chanting the holy name. The chanting of the holy name is the prayer to invite Lord Krishna to come and to take the offering. Actually, Prabhupada indicates that everything we do can be offered to Krishna. The hearing, the chanting, the remembering, the worship, they're all yagyas, and they're done for the satisfaction of the Lord. So within everything, there's the chanting of the holy name. In the Kali Yuga, the real sacrifice is the chanting of the holy name. The other yagyas which we perform, they're a show, right? We put on a show for people, and we may chant mantras and so on. But the real yagya is where we do kirtan and chant the holy name, the Mahamantra, the name of the Lord. That's the real Sankirtan Yagya. That's how the Lord is attracted to accept our offerings. So we want to become purified, we have to take the food which is offered in sacrifice. That's important. If we eat food prepared by people who are not devotees and who are sinful, then there will be some contamination there. There will be impurities there. And if we take that food, then it will also affect us. We have to be very careful. You know, just like just now with this COVID everywhere, people are very careful. they want to close down restaurants, and they try to stop people from eating out. Better you know, eat your own food at home, because then you're sure, you can be more careful that it's not got any contamination. But if you go outside, then there's always the risk that somebody's got the disease and they can give it to you. It's so contagious. So we want to protect ourselves from the contamination. Kali Yuga, there's so much contamination in the Kali Yuga. The contamination is there in the form of all the bad qualities, the evil qualities. But we can purify everything through the chanting of the holy name. So important. We have to chant. And by chanting, the food becomes spiritualized. We take it, all the karma is removed simply by invoking the Lord to come. We prepare the food for the pleasure of the Lord. Then we call the Lord by prayer and mantra, and the Lord comes and he can accept the food and take away the karma. And then we will take the remnants. It's called prasad. Prasadam, the mercy of the Lord. So this is important for us to do this yagya. And even you may be outside, difficult to eat. If you're outside, you can simply say Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, right? And just say the name of the Lord and take something. Maybe you have to take a medicine, or maybe you're eating a fruit or something like that. So we can make an offering, a simple offering, simply by calling the name of the Lord. And the Lord responds. When we call his name, then he responds. Right? Are you all offering your food at home?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, yes, Gurudev.
Yes, good.
Yes, I do. Yes.
How do you do it? What do you chant when you offer the food?
Prabhupada pranams, Sri Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya's, Panchatattva prayer and Hare Krishna mantra.
Oh, very good. Yes, very nice. Some people may chant other prayers.
Yeah, and Namo Mahavadhanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. That, and then Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya. Those
Yes.
three verses. Those three verses we have to say, no?
Yes, right. Good. Yes,
And
these
then-
are all very good.
And
Namo-
after that, again, we have to say Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Again, we have to chant.
You've already invoked the Lord by calling for Lord Chaitanya, Namo Mahabodhanaya. That's
Yeah.
Lord Chaitanya, prayer to Lord Chaitanya, and then you call also Namo Brahmana Devaya. That's Lord Krishna.
Yes, Gurudev.
So you're all right. These three prayers. Usually we'll say each prayer 3 times. So
Yes, 3 times you have to tell.
okay.
Yeah.
Of course, sometimes you may be in a special situation, maybe in a rush, no time. You have to do the offering quickly. And so everything depends on the time and the place and the circumstances. And do your best. Prabhupada quotes a verse from Brahma Samhita. The qualification to attract the Lord is love. All right. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena. We have to have love to attract the Lord. We want the Lord to come and accept the offering. We have to call him with love, with feeling from the heart. It shouldn't be mechanical. And that way, then you get very powerful prasadam, right? We get the real prasadam, the real mercy of the Lord. Very important. We want Krishna to eat first, and then we eat his remnants. So we should not have any material thoughts about this. Honoring the remnants of Lord Krishna, accepting the prasadam, very purifying, very spiritual activity. You know, sometimes people come to India, and they go to India, they go to the temple, and when they come back, they'll bring prasadam. And so devotees are always anxious. Oh, did you bring prasadam? Oh, let me have some prasadam. Because they know the prasadam, the remnants of Lord Krishna, are very powerful. So before honoring prasadam, we also like to say a prayer just to take away all material thoughts, right? And we'll say the prayer in Bengali, which Bhakti Vinod Thakur has given us, which is very well known, that prayer. Right? Sharira Vijajo, Bengali, right? Of all the senses,
Yes.
this material body is a lump of ignorance, and of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and difficult to control. Very difficult to conquer over the tongue in this world. But you, dear Lord Krishna, are so kind. You've sent us this nice prasadam. So now let us take this prasadam to our full satisfaction, and by so doing, glorify the Lordship Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. And then love, call out for the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Like that, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given us this kind of prayer, just so in case we still have some material thoughts that, you know, that I'm just eating to maintain the body. We should think this is really a spiritual activity, taking the Lord's remnants. Of course, we miss all these activities because we're meeting online and we don't have the opportunity to share prasadam with each other. It's unfortunate. This is one of the great obstacles with this situation, that we're not able to be together and share prasadam and to offer and honor prasadam. So we have to do this on our own. Okay. Hare Krishna. Any question?
I have a question. I come to your classes since months, since the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. It's wonderful, very good association, very important teachings, very simple, very clear, very powerful. And what's happened? Instead of chanting at least one round per day, I just stopped. Since weeks, months, I stopped. I don't sing even one round. I mean, what's happened? I mean, I hear everything you said. Today we speak about, you know, devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, and why I don't chant at least one round per day. That's the question I ask myself. And I ask you, what can I do? My God, I'm so much in Maya. It takes not 10 minutes, take 10 minutes. I don't do it. That's you know, no peace, no happiness.
Well,
It's
that's
just,
the problem when you just chant one round. Because you're only chanting one round, so often now you're not even chanting. That's the problem. You need to chant more. If you were chanting more, then you would do it more, you would become more attached to the chanting. But because you only chant one round, so it becomes no rounds.
Okay, yeah, I see.
So you can't compromise like this. You can't minimize the importance of chanting the holy name. Srila Prabhupada already gave us the concession that we only needed to chant 16 rounds.
Yes.
So today is the Holy Ekadasi. So I beg you, you please begin chanting today. You make a vow to chant more than one round. You used to chant 16 rounds when you were a young man.
Yes.
You were chanting 16 rounds. You know, you should get back into it again. You have to really go in and make this effort to pick yourself up and again revive your Krishna consciousness. Don't fall away, otherwise you're falling right down. Now no chanting is being done. You see, it's very bad. You really have to make an effort, pick yourself up and try to begin again. Do this chanting. So important. Please, you try to do this. Try to get this chanting done. It's so essential. Prabhupada will be pleased. You want to please Prabhupada.
Yeah.
So this is Prabhupada's most important instruction.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise it's just intellectual understanding of the Bhagavad Gita, and yeah, it's just it's not devotion. There's no connection with Krishna. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not applying the teaching of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, yes.
Because throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's talking about the importance of devotion and activities connected to him. You're not doing it. So you have to really try. Get back into it, please.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, I will. New year, new practice of Bhakti Yoga.
Jai.
All right. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Jai Prabhupada.
Okay, Vaishnavi.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. We will go to the next verse, 3.14. Ramya Mataji, can you please read it?
Sure, Vaishnavi. Anant bhavati bhutani parjant anna sambhavaha eknat bhavati parjantyo ekna karma samudbhava.
Il l'a amené chez le pédiatre, puis elle lui a fait une piqûre, mais qu'est-ce que tu lui as fait?
Translation: all living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from brains. Brains are produced by performance of yajnas, and yajnas is born of prescribed duties. Puppet. Srila Baladeva Vidyabhusana, a great commentator on the Bhagavad Gita, writes as follows: Indra Angatavastyam Yagnam Sarveshwaram Visum Abhyacharya Tashesam Asnanti Tenata Dehayatram Sambadyanti Te Santna Sarveshwarasaya Yagna Purashastya Bhakta Sarva Tribhisar Ananta Kala Vivander Armanobhava Pratibhambavkar Nikilaya Papya Vimushiyat. The Supreme Lord, who is known as the Yagna Purusha, or the personal beneficiary of all sacrifices, is the master of all the demigods, who serve him as the different limbs of the body serve the whole. Demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Varuna are appointed officers who manage material affairs, and the Vedas direct sacrifice to satisfy these demigods, so that they may be pleased to supply air, light, and water sufficiently to produce food grains. When Lord Krishna is worshipped, the demigods who are different limbs of the Lord are also automatically worshipped. Therefore, there is no separate need to worship the demigods. For this reason, the devotees of the Lord who are in the Krishna consciousness offer food to Krishna and then eat, a process which nourishes the body spiritually. By such action, not only are past sinful reaction in the body vanquished, but the body becomes immunized to all contamination of material nature. When there is an epidemic disease, an antiseptic vaccine protects a person from the attack of such an epidemic. Similarly, food offered to Lord Vishnu and then taken by us make us sufficiently resistant to material affection, and one is who accustomed to this practice is called a devotee of the Lord. Therefore, a person in Krishna consciousness who eat only food offered to Krishna can counteract all reactions of past material infections, which are impediments to the progress of self-realization. On the other hand, one who does not do so continues to increase the volume of sinful action, and this prepares the next body to resemble hogs and dogs to suffer the resultant reactions of all sins. The material world is full of contamination, and who is immunized by accepting prasadam of the Lord, food offered to Vishnu, is saved from the attack, whereas one who does not do so became subjected to contamination. Food grains are vegetable or factually eatables. The human being eat different kind of food grains, vegetables, fruits, etc., and the animals eat the refuse of the food grains and vegetables, grass, plants, etc. Human beings who are accustomed to eating meat and flesh must also depend on the production of vegetation in order to eat the animals. Therefore, ultimately, we have to depend on the production of the field and not on the production of big factories. The field production is due to sufficient rain from the sky, and such rain are controlled by demigods like Indra, sun, moon, etc. And they are all servants of the Lord. The Lord can't be satisfied by sacrifices. Therefore, one who cannot perform them will find himself in scarcity. That is the law of nature. Ignas, specifically the Sankirtana Ignas prescribed for this age, must therefore be performed to save us at least from scarcity of food supply. Hare Krishna.
So Lord Krishna is describing the process by which we are able to get food. First of all, he says, Anad bhavati bhutani, all living entities subsist on food grains. Not only the humans eat grains, the animals, of course, they also need grain. They also eat grains, the birds and the different creatures of the jungle and the forest, and they all want some grains to eat. So grains, they're very important for the society, for the people, for everyone. We do farming, people in the villages and so on, they do use the land to produce crops, to produce grains. In India, maybe in the South India, it's rice, and in the north, it's wheat. Similarly, in China, it's wheat in the north and rice in the south. And in America, they produce a lot of wheat. And in Russia, they'll produce also wheat. So grains are so important. We're always worried that there will not be enough food. So Prabhupada's explaining how to ensure that or Lord Krishna is telling us what we need to do to ensure how to have a good food supply, abundance of food. We have to do yagya. We eat grains, and grains need rain. And to get good rain, you have to please the demigods. We know, of course, Govardhan Hill, it's interesting. Krishna stopped the people from doing Indra Yagya. So it appears contradictory. Nanda Maharaj was saying we have to do Yagya for Indra to get rain. But Krishna didn't want the people of Vrindavan to do that Yagya. He wanted them to worship who? Who did he want everyone to worship? The people of Vrindavan.
Govardhan Hill?
Govardhan.
Govardhan, right. Krishna wanted them to worship Govardhan and also the cows and the brahmanas. And Krishna showed himself that he was actually Govardhan. He appeared as Govardhan to accept the offerings. The people of Vrindavan, they don't need to do yagyas for demigods like Indra. Of course, Lord Krishna knew Indra had become proud. So Krishna arranged this pastime of picking up the Govardhan hill. But the point is, there has to be some yagya. And if you're not going to do yagya for Indra, then you have to do the yagya for the Supreme Lord. And that's better. Because by worshipping the Supreme Lord, then all the demigods are satisfied. And this is the process. Just like the example was given, you water the root, then all the leaves and branches are nourished. You don't put the water on the leaf. When we water Tulsi, we don't pour water on the leaf or on the branches. Put the water on the root. And from the root, the water is distributed to all the leaves and branches. And similarly, when we feed the stomach, we feed the stomach. We don't feed the hand and the leg. You cannot feed just put food in the stomach, in the hand or in the leg. We have to feed the stomach. We feed the stomach and the energy is distributed to all the parts of the body. So yagya works like that. If we satisfy the Yagya Purush, the Supreme Lord Krishna, then all the demigods are satisfied. And we'll get good rain, we'll get sufficient sunshine. Sunshine is also important, not only rain. You have to have some sunshine to produce good crops. And the moon is also important because in Bhagavad Gita we learn how the moon puts the juice into the vegetables. The taste in the vegetables actually comes due to the moon. And so these different planets are all very important in the production of food. Lord Krishna has arranged everything, and we have to get their cooperation. The cooperation of these different planets and the different demigods who control these planets, and it comes through yagya. We do this yagya. Daily chanting, right? We have to do every day yagya, our yagya. And if even a small percentage of the population do this yagya, it will make such a good effect on the planet. We need to do yagya now more than ever. Now at this time with the pandemic situation, with so much disease everywhere, so many people suffering, it's very important for everyone. You learn to do this yagya and do the chanting of the holy names, and it will protect us. It can change the whole situation. What do you say? Do you agree?
Completely, Maharaj.
Good, very good. We're glad you agree. So we have to do it. We have to cooperate. We have to chant. What about Ramya Mariji? Are you going to chant also?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, of course. I'll try to increase.
Are you working though? Do you have a job?
No, I'm a housewife.
Oh, very good. Very good. Then it's possible. Yeah.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Any questions, anybody?
Guru Maharaj, here they are telling yajna is born of prescribed duties.
Yes.
How I couldn't understand this, Guru Maharaj.
Well, every one of us we have a duty to perform yajna. We have a duty to do sacrifice because we're all enjoying the different gifts of material nature. Whatever is provided by the material nature from this planet, we're enjoying. We eat the food, we enjoy the light, we enjoy the heat of the sun, you enjoy so many different, the rain is also there to purify and wash everything. It's important for us. And so we're enjoying everything which is provided by these different demigods. Therefore, we have to show our gratitude to them by performing yajna. It becomes our prescribed duty. We have to satisfy them through the performance of yajna. So Prabhupada is explaining the proper yajna is this Sankirtan. You do the chanting of the holy name as an offering for the Supreme Lord. And by satisfying the Supreme Lord, then our duty, our obligations to all the other demigods are fulfilled.
Okay, Guru Maharaj. I was just thinking prescribed duties means like Kshatriya or a woman like has to do her household duty, something like that. Okay, now it's clear for me, Guru Maharaj.
Yes, well, that's according to Varnashram, but prescribed duty is also in the sense that we're all servants. There's one Supreme Master, and we are all his servants. So we have a duty to serve the Master. And we may think, well, how can I serve Lord Krishna? That he's so great, he's Bhagavan, he has everything. Does he need my service? We know Lord Krishna does. He does want our service, but he wants our loving service. He doesn't want that if we grudgingly serve him. Oh, I suppose I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. No, we want to serve Krishna out of love with real devotion. And that naturally we want to please Krishna. Therefore, we do these things like chanting and offering our food to Krishna. We want to feed Krishna. Just like you have children at home, you will cook for your children. Because you love your child, you want to feed them. So in the same way, we should also think of Krishna like that. That Krishna is there in your home, and you have an obligation to also feed him, to serve him, and to satisfy him. And he will be pleased when we offer our chanting, when we offer some flower, or we offer some fruits to him. Krishna doesn't need these things, but he wants to see our loving reciprocation with him. He wants to see that we actually are thinking of him. And when we're thinking of him, then we will show it by our activity, by our chanting, by our prayers.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. In Bhagavad Gita 7.27, it says the ignorant is controlled by an illusory energy, which is manifest in the dualities in the form of desire and hate. This illusory energy, Maharaj, is it the three modes of material nature?
Well, certainly, if there's ignorance there is going to be some combination of the modes of nature. Wherever there's forgetfulness of Krishna, wherever one is turning away from Krishna, then you're putting yourself under the material energy. And the material energy means the three modes of nature. That's inevitable. If you're not taking shelter of Krishna, then you're taking shelter of the material energy. And the material energy is made up of the three modes of nature. So people have desires and envy, desire to be God, enviousness of Krishna, like that. And so it puts them under the material energy. Yeah, if you're not under the shelter of Krishna's spiritual energy, then you have to be in the material energy. One who's taken shelter of Krishna, he's under the protection of the divine energy. Divine energy means the spiritual energy. And one who is not under the shelter of Krishna, then they're under Maya, under the control of Maya. And Maya means the three modes of nature, the three different degrees of the material energy. Yeah? Okay, we'll go ahead.
Fernando Prabhu, can you please read 3.15?
Yeah, sorry, Mataji, but I'm driving right now.
No
I just
problem.
joined you, but I'm inside my car. I would like to, but I'm driving. I'm really sorry.
No problem, Prabhu. Simon
Sorry.
Prabhu, do you want to read? Karma Brahmodbhavan Viddhi Brahmakshara Samudbhavam Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Nityam Yagne Pratishtitam. Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. Yajnarthat karma, or the necessity of work for the satisfaction of Krishna only, is more expressly stated in this verse. If we have to work for the satisfaction of Yajna Purusha Vishnu, then we must find out the direction of work in Brahman or the transcendental Vedas. The Vedas are therefore codes of working directions. Anything performed without the direction of the Vedas is called as vikarma, or unauthorized work or sinful work. Therefore, one should always take direction from the Vedas to be saved from the reaction of work. As one has to work in ordinary life by the direction of the state, one similarly has to work under the direction of the supreme state of the Lord. Such directions in the Vedas are directly manifested from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said, Ashya Mahato Bhutasya Nishvashitam Etad Yag Rigvedo Yajurveda Samavedo Adarvana Girashaha. The four Vedas, namely the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda, are all emanations from the breathing of the great personality of Godhead. Brahat Aranyaka Upanishad 4.5.11. The Lord, being omnipotent, can speak by breathing air, for as it is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, the Lord has the omnipotence to perform through each of his senses the actions of all other senses. In other words, the Lord can speak through his breathing, and he can impregnate by his eyes. In fact, it is said that he glanced over the material nature and thus fathered all living entities. After creating or impregnating the conditioned souls into the womb of material nature, he gave his directions in the Vedic wisdom as to how such conditioned souls can return home back to Godhead. We should always remember that the conditioned souls in the material nature are all eager for material enjoyment, but the Vedic directions are so made that one can satisfy one's perverted desires, then return to Godhead, having finished his so-called enjoyment. It is a chance for the conditioned souls to attain liberation. Therefore, the conditioned souls must try to follow the process of yajna by becoming Krishna conscious. Even those who have not followed the Vedic injunctions may adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness, and that will take the place of performance of Vedic yajnas or karmas. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
All right, so the Vedas. Vedas, later on we will see Lord Krishna will explain that the Vedas deal with the three modes of nature. So the Vedas, the four Vedas mentioned here, they're coming directly from the Lord. They're called the Shruti, right? The Vedic knowledge is different divisions. There's one section called Shruti, which means the hearing process, and the other side you've got Smriti. So Smriti is remembering. This Bhagavad Gita is actually not Shruti, it's not strictly Vedas, because the Bhagavad Gita comes from Mahabharata, and Mahabharata is coming from the pen of Vyasadeva. But the four Vedas, they come from the breathing of the Lord. The four Vedas are eternal knowledge. So some people, they will only accept the Vedas. They only follow the Vedas. So the Vedas describe how we can improve our material life. Sometimes we describe the Vedas as being like a handbook of what we need to do to live and prosper in this material world. So just like you purchase some electronic device, you will get with it a manual how to operate it and how to use it. So similarly, the Vedas are like a handbook, how we can live in this world, what we need to do to be successful and to be peaceful and prosperous in this world. So when we follow the Vedic rules, then we get good results usually. We all have some karma, and you know, when we do things against the Vedas, that's called vikarma. That's sinful, and that brings reactions, brings punishment. We get, you know, and we have vikarma. We have these reactions are there, maybe from previous life as well, not just from this life, but from many previous lives. We have karma. So some of the karma may be good and some of it's bad. The bad karma brings us suffering and the good karma brings us enjoyment. So we get some suffering, we get some enjoyment. When we follow the Vedas, then you get good results. You get more enjoyment. Of course, sometimes we may try to follow the Vedas and somehow something goes wrong, doesn't work out properly. There's a story which is described in if you read the pastimes of Lord Krishna, there's a book called Krishna, about the pastimes of Krishna. Have any of you read that book? Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead? No?
I'm reading this moment, Guru Maharaj.
Oh, very good.
I'm in the beginning.
Okay, so there's a story there in that book. It's about a great king called Maharaj Nriga, and he was giving charity, and you know, and he was giving the highest kind of charity. Now, to give charity is very good. It's a Vedic, you know, activity. It says acts of sacrifice, charity, and austerity should never be given up. They purify even great souls. So this king was giving charity. He was giving charity to Brahmanas, and he would give cows. But one day, one of the cows which he gave to one Brahmana, somehow it got mixed with cows given to another Brahmana. So both the Brahmanas thought, this was my cow, this cow was given to me. And they came and they complained to the king. And the king was very sorry. Somehow this mistake was made unintentionally. And he offered to give the Brahmanas many more cows in place of that one cow. But they both said no. They said, I have vowed only to take charity one time. And he could not satisfy the Brahmanas. And because he could not satisfy the Brahmanas, he suffered. He had to suffer reactions of stealing from a Brahmana. And the result was that after he died, after he gave up the body of the king, he was put into the body of a lizard. And he had to suffer in the body of a lizard in the bottom of a well for some time, until Lord Krishna came. And Lord Krishna came there and touched him with his hand, and immediately he gave up that lizard body and he became a demigod. Anyway, this example is there to show us that the danger of just doing activities in the Vedas. You make a little mistake, you can get a lot of trouble. So it's better to do Krishna conscious activities than to just try to follow the Vedas. But you do get people there, they just want to follow the Vedas. They don't want to follow Krishna consciousness. They just want to follow the Vedas. So it's risky. They have these problems. They have the difficulties sometimes. But if you simply try to be Krishna conscious, then it's so much easier. And we don't have to worry so much about making mistakes, because Krishna is concerned with the devotion. He doesn't look at the little mistake made here and there. He's only looking at the heart of the person. Is this person my devotee? That's what Krishna wants to see. Is it clear?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
I don't know. Can the ladies understand?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, this
Yes, Gurudev.
story is very scary. Means he has to become a lizard for unintentional mistake. Yeah.
Well, that's karma, like that. Karma is like that. We don't know why we're suffering. We don't remember doing anything. We don't remember what we did wrong, but somehow there's some karma there which gets us in trouble. We have to be so careful. But if we act for the pleasure of Krishna, then there's no karma.
So before doing any activity, we have to pray and ask Krishna like that, Guru Maharaj. Oh, is it good for me? Is it good like that?
Yes, it's very good if you pray to Krishna, and before doing everything, we pray to Krishna. Yes, that's what we should be doing every day. We begin our day with some chanting and prayers to Krishna, right? It's the morning program. Make the day auspicious. And we make the day auspicious by doing these things.
Maharaj, is Bhagavad Gita Shruti or Smriti, Maharaj?
Bhagavad Gita is Smriti. But some people say, because Bhagavad Gita is directly the words of Krishna, so they say this is also Shruti. But the people like Vedantists, those people who are Vedantists, who only follow the 4 Vedas, they would not accept Bhagavad Gita, because and according to them, they say Bhagavad Gita is not Vedas, but we say Bhagavad Gita is the 5th Veda. We say it's the 5th Veda. But they say, no. It's only 4 Vedas. Actually, originally there was 1 Veda, and the 1 Veda was divided into 4. So the point is the 4 Vedas, this is eternal knowledge, eternal mantras which are all passed down, which have been recited since time immemorial. Bhagavad Gita, of course, is also very ancient. It's also perennial knowledge, very old. We cannot put the beginning on it. Millions of years old. But they will say, no, it's Mahabharata. Mahabharata is Smriti. It's not Shruti. Shruti means the 4 Vedas. So some but you have to be careful. If you're speaking to a group of Vedantists, they will not accept Bhagavad Gita. So then you have to quote from the Vedas. You have to quote Upanishads. That's why when we were teaching Bhakti Shastri, part of the Bhakti Shastri course includes the study of the Ishopanishad. And we point out how Prabhupada wrote commentary on Ishopanishad because that is Shruti. It's the only real Shruti which we have. But it's powerful. And you will often see in purports, Prabhupada will write, in Vedic evidence, and then he will quote a verse from some Vedas, from some Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Kali Santara Upanishad. There are different Upanishads, Prabhupada will quote them in the purports. But Ishopanishad, Prabhupada is commented on. All right. So today is Ekadasi. Is everybody going to stay and chant one round with me today?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yes,
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 Gurudev.
yes.
We're supposed to chant more rounds on Ekadasi. How many rounds are you chanting, Padma?
25, Gurudev. I've started since 2 months.
Very good. Yes. Okay. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,